Okay. Number one, these are the problems that will be on your test. Okay? So we are reviewing. We're going to start the review in class, and then you're going to finish them for homework, and then we'll continue this review tomorrow. Number one says negative 6 equals to x over 8 plus 4. Well, the first step would be we subtract 4 from both sides, right? You would subtract 4 from both sides. Then after you subtract 4 from both sides, you're left with negative 6 minus 4. That gives us negative 10 equals to x over 8. Now, what do we do after this step?
You divide 8.
You're dividing by 8. Very good. So what's the opposite of dividing by 8?
8.
Multiply by 8. Excellent job, little wizards. 8 times negative 10 is negative 80. That would equal to x. Very good. Y'all see that? So you first subtract and then you multiply. Is that clear?
Yes.
Be careful with the next one. If you look at number 2, on number 2 we have 3/7 x plus 5. That equals to 8. What would be the first step on something like this? Excellent. After you subtract the 5, you're left with 3/7 x equals to, what's 8 minus 5? 3. Now, be careful with this step. Careful with this step.
Wait,
Yes, sir.
real quick. Why is it minus?
Because you're adding 5. What's the opposite of adding 5?
Minus.
Minus 5.
So like if it was like times, it would be division?
Exactly. Now, on this one, it's times, but it's a fraction. So, what's the opposite of multiplying by this fraction? You multiply by its, what do we call it? Reciprocal. Very good. Very good. Times 7 over 3. Times 7 over 3. So, this cancels, so you're left with x equals 2. Look what happens. You could actually put this as 3 over 1, right? What happens to those 3's? And what are you left with? Great job. Great job. Do you see that? On number 3, you have 11 equals to negative d plus 15.
Can we try this on?
Yes, go ahead and try that.
Just blank commentary.
What?
There's no one commentating on this.
What are you saying?
There's no one commentating over
Wait,
that.
mister, let him know what to do. Shadow.
So, we put, what would be the first step here? Subtract 15, subtract 15, and you're left with 11 minus 15, which is what? Very good. That equals to negative d. That's actually, if I write negative d, that's actually negative what? Negative 1d. What would be my last step here? Divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. So we're left with d equals to, what's negative 4 divided by negative 1? Positive 4. Is that clear, guys?
Well, because the negative divided by negative
Is positive. Any questions on this? Can you guys try number 4, which is very similar to this? Can you try number 4, please? Number 4 says 14 equals to negative D plus 19. Mr. Barbara, can you please try that, sir?
It's literally the same problem.
It's literally the same process. We subtract 19, and that would give us negative 5 equals to negative 1D. And then what do we do next? Divide by negative 1. Therefore, D equals to negative 5 divided by negative 1? Positive 5. Positive 5. Is that clear, guys? Yes, go ahead and try number 5 for me. You're going to have to do a little step before you start there.
Yes, I know.
What is that step that you're going to do?
It's the multiplication thing where you have to go like that.
But what's the name of that property?
Line.
Distributive property. Very good. You're distributing. You're distributing. After we distribute, what would be the first step? Excellent. Very good. So you're left with 3y equals to 30 minus 18, which is what? 12. And then what do we do? Divide by 3. Divide by 3. Y would equal to what? 4.
I did it a different way.
It's fine. There's multiple ways to get to China.
They're just two. Like planted by road. Because you just went handy.
You can drive
You can drive, you can...
if you're close by. Okay. Number 5. Number 6. Okay. 5p over 7 minus 18 equals to negative 43. Was there any question on number 5? On number 5. Was there a question on this one?
No.
Are we good?
Actually, wait.
Remember, this is on YouTube, so you may go back and rewind it and review it.
What I did was I divided 30 by 3 and then...
That's correct. And then subtract 10. I mean, subtract 6. And you get 4. Very good.
A lot faster and easier.
Look at this one. What would be the first step on something like this, Celis?
Negative 3 plus 18.
So, we add 18. We add 18. So we have 5p over 7 equals to negative 43 plus 18. What's negative 43 plus 18?
It's 20...
Negative
Yeah.
25. Yes. Okay? Now, here comes the crucial step. How do we solve for p here in this case? Sky, what do we do? Multiply? Which is? Great. Great. So we have p equals to, and then what do we do here, Montserrat? Can we reduce? What do we reduce by? 5. So this is 1 and this is 5. Parra, what's negative 5 times 7? Very good. Negative 35, and then over 1, so the answer is just negative 35. Do you all understand that process?
I don't think we're gonna finish all this for the time limits.
Okay. I want you to practice number 7 for homework. I want you to do number 7 for homework. Let me jump in to number 8. Let me jump into number 8.
Wait, this number 7?
No. We're skipping around.
Oh.
Number 8 says 4.9 x plus 4.4 equals to 19.1. So now we have decimals, but it is the same process. What do? Subtract 4.4, subtract 4.4. We have 4.9x equals to 19.1 minus 14.4. What's 19.1 minus, 4.4? What's 19.1 minus 4.4? Isn't that 14.7? Okay. Now we're going to divide both sides by what? By 4.9. So x equals to 14.7 divided by 4.9. Think about that. 14.7 divided by 4.9. Okay, what do?
You move the decimal that way?
Very good, so you move this one
And then
that way. So our problem's actually,
49.
right, 147 divided by 49, and that goes in exactly how many times? 3. So the answer is 3. Is that clear, guys? I want you to try number 9 also for homework. Number 9 also for homework. Okay, let's read number 10. Let's read number 10 together. It says, Stephen, see, we could focus in on the problem. That's the most it goes. Okay. It says Stephen wants to buy a bicycle which costs $565. Stephen has no money saved, but will be able to deposit $30 into a savings account which he receives, when he receives his paycheck each Friday. However, before Stephen can buy the bike, he must give his sister $65 that he owes her. For how many weeks will Stephen need to deposit the money into the savings account before he can pay back his sister and buy the bike? Okay? So, let's read that question. It says, we know that the bicycle costs $565, right? The bicycle costs $565. Okay? He wants to, there's zero in his savings, so he wants to deposit $30 in savings, so that's the goal, $30 a week, right? But before he could do that, he wants to give his sister $65 that he owes her. Okay, so he owes his sister $65. Now, the question is, for how many weeks will Stephen need to deposit money into his savings before he can pay back his sister and buy the bike? In other words,
So it's like 3 weeks, right?
because it says, for how many weeks will Stephen need to deposit money into his savings account before he can pay his sister and buy the bike? In other words, we need this to total. He wants to buy the bike. The bike costs $565. So he's going to have to deposit $565 plus $65 that he owes the sister, right? So $565 plus the $65 he owes the sister gives us a total of $630. Do you all see that? This is the total he's going to have in his savings. Now, he's placing $30 a week into his savings account, and he wants to save $630. How many weeks will this add up to? Well, we simply divide 630 by 30, which would give us a total of what? 21. In this case, W means what? Weeks. It's a total of 21 weeks. Y'all see that? The question is the question is vague. It's not clear. To me, it's like, if you have the $65, will you owe her? We'll pay her first and then. But that's not the way they're asking the question. They're asking, how many weeks will he need to deposit the money before he could pay the sister and buy the bike? So in other words, he has to have everything in the savings, and then he'll pay his sister and then buy the bike at the same time. So it's 21 weeks before he could do that. Very easy question. Did you all understand that? These are the types of questions you're going to have on your practice SAT, and you have to learn to read them and reason them out. I also included this just a little geometry question here, keeping the SAT and all of that stuff in mind. We have to learn this fact. Of course, they're going to teach us this in geometry, but look, it says the sum of the measures of the angle of a triangle is 180. In other words, if you add all the angles of the triangle, they will always add up to 180. So you have X, and you add that to 68 degrees, and you add that to 26 degrees. What would all of these angles add up to? 180. Now, let's add them up. What's 68 plus 26? What's 68 plus 26? 94. 94 degrees. X plus 94 degrees equals to 180. How do we solve for X? Subtract 94. Subtract 94 degrees in this case. X would equal to 180 degrees minus 94 degrees. That gives us what? 86 degrees. What's the minute count on the YouTube?
We only have less than 50.
Okay, let me record part 2 for this review.